There are numerous ways to do that, and there are some great books. Holly Catterton Allen has written really richly about this. George van der Velde has done so as well, Rachel Mers. So I'd point people to those resources on intergenerational mission and ministry. But to take a few examples, let's start with worship, because that's the most important thing God calls us to worship him, glorify him forever. And that's what we're going to be doing in all eternity. So there are churches that have all-age worship, perhaps once a month. My church does it once a month, where the children and the young people stay in. They don't depart after the second hymn or whatever. But very often that all-age worship is led by adults in a slightly sort of more simple linguistic register for young people. How about if young people were reading the scriptures, were even perhaps preaching a message, depending on their age and experience and so forth, if they were leading the worship band in that service, if they were shown to be absolutely involved up front. What about if actually that didn't just confine itself to the all-age service, but that they were doing that in other services, supposedly adult services as well? What about if young people were on church committees, not just as a token gesture, but genuinely contributing to strategy, to the forming of a mission statement? In a church denominational context, what if there were a parallel youth council that could bring resolutions that were treated exactly the same as all the other resolutions on the floor of that church assembly? Biblically, if we look into the Torah, into the law of Moses, we see various instances at which Israel is called to celebrate or to be festive, and children are frequently name-checked as being there. Even actually on the eve of a battle, when Israel has to consolidate and really bring its resources together, we see children as part of the picture. And it seems to me that festivity, both within the church and actually out on the streets, in mission, in celebrating the gospel, in preaching the gospel, should feature children. It seems to me that that would be taking great cues from all of those Old Testament festivals where children were absolutely part of the picture. And another area that I'm very passionate about is mentoring. So many churches have elderships, or they have senior leadership teams. What if a condition of eldership in the church, or senior leadership on the executive, or whatever it's called, the board, the parish council in my tradition of Anglicanism, what if one of the conditions of that was that every older person with a bit more experience was mentoring or helping through a younger person with their faith? Under the right conditions, obviously everything has to be properly done, and we have safeguarding in the UK, which is very, very important around that. But mentoring, I think, is another fantastic way to break down that sort of hard generational divide that is in the cultural discourse, which isn't Christian in my view. We need to be countercultural in showing how the generations interact under Christ's sovereignty, and mentoring is a great way to do that.